Cinesmack contains spoilers of the spoiling type. If you don't want your spoilers spoiled, please turn back now. Otherwise, enjoy the show!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Ladies and gentlemen! Welcome to the main event! This is Cinesmack! And the winner is...
Ahoy, Cinesmacketeers, and welcome to bout number 123 of Cinesmack, the podcast about films by filmmakers. I am your host, Mike Keeler. Joining me tonight is our panel of award-winning judges. First, filmmaker and owner of Arizona Inc. Studios, Andrew Parley-Lou Zumwalt.
Fortunately, I know how to counter it. The man who did the waking buys the man who was sleeping a drink. The man who was sleeping drinks it while listening to a proposition from the man who did the waking.
Second, filmmaker and owner of Cheshire Moon Films, Tom, the lesser of two weevils, Haggis.
Hi, good, you might I, that's great, shouldn't he say, even? We're going to be the society today, that's what you're doing.
Third, writer, actor, and director Kyle Bootstrap Fine.
Hey, I wonder what all these lonely straight men did with all those boys out to sea for so long.
Oh my God, Kyle.
Just a thought.
Oh my God.
Train them in naval warfare. That's what I was getting at. What were you thinking?
Seamanship.
Bunch of perverts.
Fourth, filmmaker and owner of One Genome Short Productions. It's got warts all over it.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum. This podcast is a lot of fun. It's Pirates Gold, people. I sound kind of like a leprechaun instead of a pirate. I'm no Johnny Depp, though.
You gonna catch those Lucky Charms, or?
All right, let's poke the monkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, scurvy dogs and able seamen, welcome to the main event. Tonight, two maritime movies clash on the high seas. Which one will sail off into the sunset, and which will be sent to a watery tomb? In the first quarter, from 2003, written by Peter Weir and John Coley, directed by Peter Weir, starring Russell Crowe, Paul Bettany, and James Darcy. Master and Commander, the far side of the world. In the second quarter, also from 2003, written by Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio, and Stuart Beatty. Directed by Gore Verbinski. Starring Johnny Depp, Orlando Bloom, and Keira Knightley. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
I really enjoyed coming back to these movies. I haven't watched either one in a long time, so I can't wait to hear what you all think about them. So let's start off with our first round, which is writing.
Okay, these are interesting from a writing standpoint because of the source material to me. I feel like one had excessive source material that they probably couldn't fit all into one movie. And the other one is like, really? They're going to make a movie out of this? So Master and Commander is based on a book, and I felt like throughout the movie, I felt like there was probably too much material in the book for them to get it all in. Too many characters, too many events, too much history, and all that kind of thing. And I felt sometimes like they, in order to make the movie a reasonable length, and it was still over 2 hours long, they probably had to really kind of cut things out and go very fast. And it was more historically based, obviously. Whereas Pirates of the Caribbean, as far as I remember, was based on a ride at Disney World or whatever. And I'm like, really? We're going to make a movie out of a ride? I mean, is there really enough material there? But both of them, I thought, remarkably, were pretty well written. I enjoyed them both. I thought the writing was good in both. There was good character development. I thought Master and Commander kind of like took some shortcuts with the characters, and again, probably because there was maybe too much source material. We didn't really get to know a lot of the characters all that well. We got to know, Russell Crowe's character and Paul Bettany's character, the Doctor, the best probably. But I thought they did a great job of creating characters for Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, from so little source material, it just seemed fantastic. So I don't know. What do you guys think about the writing of these two films?
Well, I know Master and Commander's 2 books that they tried to squeeze into one movie. So, there was a lot of source material they had to squeeze down. But, I always feel like Master and Commander kind of like failed because of Pirates of the Caribbean's success. Maybe if they'd come out in a different order, because I think Pirates came out first, if I'm not mistaken. But at any rate, I think people obviously were drawn to Pirates of the Caribbean more than Master and Commander, which is unfortunate because they're both really good. But story-wise, I think they both, before these 2 movies came out, their pirate movies were kind of taboo in Hollywood. They really tried to shy away from them ever since, Cutthroat Island was like the biggest flop of all time, and pirate movies are expensive to make. And I think both of these movies are able to tell those stories successfully, and they both did a really good job of getting that across. So I don't even know what I meant there at the end.
Did you say that you thought Pirates came out first?
Did Pirates come out first?
Yes. Came out in July, and Master and Commander came out in November.
See, and it seems like that kind of like undercut the success. And Pirates may have still been in some theaters by the time Master and Commander came out back then.
Right. But and in some ways, they're very different from each other.
Yeah, that's so funny because I was thinking about that too, because they're, we do these matchups, and sometimes we get ones like Donnie Darko and Harvey where we're like, wow, I cannot believe how well these 2 movies match up. And then I'm watching these and I was stunned at how completely different these 2 movies are.
Yeah, especially when it comes to like the tone of the films. Pirates of the Caribbean is lighthearted and fun, whereas Master and Commander is a little bit more serious. It's more presumably, I don't know this, and maybe you guys do, but presumably more historically accurate and more down to earth. Obviously we don't have like zombie pirates in Master and Commander, so they are very different in those respects. But I could definitely see what you said, Tom, where Master and Commander may have suffered from the popularity of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and I can't disagree with that. I kind of don't agree that Master and Commander is really a pirate movie. I don't see it as a actual pirate movie. I see it as your traditional naval time period. I think the opening slate even says the ocean is the battlefield. There's far less piratey and more just shipping. I also want to you, Gabe, had said that Pirates of the Caribbean, there's not a lot of source material, and I don't know how true that is. Yes, Pirates of the Caribbean was definitely took a lot of liberties from Disney and the Disney ride and the things that they made up, but Pirates of the Caribbean, there were lots of pirates. There were lots of stories in the Virgin Islands. Tortuga actually exists. It's a real place. I've been there. There are plenty of stories. And now there are plenty of stories that they easily could have pulled historical, factual things from. Now, I don't believe they necessarily did, but there's lots of content out there that they could make a somewhat historically accurate pirate movie that involves in that area in that time period. So I know that Disney kind of made their own fictitious thing, obviously, for the multiple reasons. But I felt they did a nice job actually making it. It was going into it, I thought it was going to be way cheesier, and it was a lot more fun, and adults and I guess younger generation could have enjoyed it. There were just a lot of things that as an adult I think you appreciate more and find humor in more. With Master and Commander, like you said, lots of historical accurate things. Amazing to see what they can put on paper from an adaptation. I haven't read the books, but an adaptation from even just writing that to putting that actually onto a screenplay that they can shoot on film, because it's majestic, really, some of the stuff they pulled off.
It's interesting you mentioned a realistic pirate movie, because I think that would be exactly what you got if you smashed these two movies together. Master and Commander is very much a more realistic look at the naval life, and Pirates of the Caribbean much more fanciful. Both are written well, have good stories, and feel well contained, I suppose, and have a consistent tone, with the exception, I think, of when you start realizing there's magic involved, which is which is slightly odd. Pirates of the Caribbean is obviously quite bombastic and not true to reality, but then you're like, oh, these are literal dead people, and you kind of have to get on board with that. But it is like a rich fantasy world. It's very pretty. We'll talk about that later, I'm sure, but it must have been a big feat to bring this to life. Pirates being one of those things like zombies that have kind of flirted in and out of popular culture throughout the years, although zombies have had much more of a major impact recently. But yeah, as far as I know, are they still making Pirates of the Caribbean movies?
They are. They have
that's
another,
crazy.
They have another one slated, yes.
Yeah, so Master and Commander
with Johnny Depp as well.
That is I think that's up for grabs.
Yeah, I think they got rid of Johnny Depp.
Well, and then I'd like to think of
his daughter.
How timely we are, and how we make such great choices in our matchups, because I hadn't heard about Master and Commander forever, and just as we're getting ready to record this, I've started seeing news stories about them doing a sequel.
Yeah.
Or a prequel, maybe, I don't remember. But they're supposedly making another Master and Commander movie.
And how are they is Russell Crowe going to be involved?
That I don't know.
And we were talking before the show, and Russell Crowe for 18 years since the movie came out, he's talked about how much he's wanted to get back to it, and how important it is to him. So of all of his movies about making another one, this is the one that he kind of keeps coming back to over and over again. So
and I think that
he looks very different now than he does back then.
But
if you've seen the Road Rage movie that came out not too long ago.
That it definitely says something for the stories, though, because you've got people that are interested and they're still able to come up with fun and creative ideas that are based in these worlds. And then, Master and Commander with the books, being able to pull so much out of them to be able to write another good story, and that you have actors that are just, biting at the bit to get back in. I think says something about the story itself that are written for both of these franchises, or soon to be second franchise, right?
Yeah. It's funny too because, when they both came out, Master and Commander was like one-off movie and it was done, and the poor box office did it in. But right now, where we're sitting, June 2021, Master and Commander's in a much better position as a franchise than Pirates of the Caribbean is. I mean, they don't know what to do with it, and it's kind of amazing. So
we've got pirate fatigue,
and that may be for the the next Pirate of the Caribbean, as people have seen it. They're going for it's fun, but Master and Commander may feel new. So it's exciting. It's an exciting time. I like this
exciting time for boat movies.
To be real too. I mean, it's interesting to see how the pandemic has affected people's taste in movies. That movies like Nomadland and movies about getting out and moving around are so popular. I mean, they're like little vacations, Yep.
Right.
And just seeing different parts of the country and different cultures and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that people, it's like a couple of producers came out of their basement and were like, "Man, we need to make another Master and Commander movie."
People have been cooped up too long. They need a seafaring movie.
Or they wrote it during the pandemic because they had nothing else to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
See, those Skype calls or Zoom calls really did do something for people.
All right, guys, let's put it to a vote.
Oh, I'm not ready to vote.
Gabe.
Yeah. This is tougher than I thought. I'm going to go with Master and Commander on this one.
Okay. Andrew.
I'm going to go with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Tom.
And I will go with Pirates of the Caribbean.
And Kyle.
Just so you know, tonight when I vote, I will be saying I cast my vote for Master and Commander.
Oh, you should have gone first. That would have been great. Now I feel my vote was wasted.
You squally wag. You voted for the wrong movie.
It's your right as an American to vote, so don't waste it.
Rock the boat.
Rock the boat. Damn it.
Rock the boat.
Damn it.
I guess you're starboard.
Hey, when global warming takes over, we all will be voting on boats, so that will be a great slogan.
Master and Commander combines two novels, Master and Commander and The Far Side of the World. Both deal with chasing down a privateer, and the movie combines the long chase of the latter with the furious climactic battle of the former. Ted Elliott and Terry Rossio have said in interviews that they wrote the script of Pirates of the Caribbean in the early 90s. Somehow Steven Spielberg got a hold of the script and wanted to direct the film with Bill Murray, Steve Martin, and Robin Williams playing Jack Sparrow.
What?
But Disney did not give permission for the film to be made.
Wow. We talk about that sometimes, about like alternate actors in these roles.
That's like my favorite
that's a
thing.
Weird one to. It's a hard one to imagine to a certain degree. I love all of those actors. I think they're fantastic, but it just seems it would be a way different movie.
I
and
agree.
there probably wouldn't be 5 of them.
Oh no, I can't see that.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, expensive. I mean, it's expensive now, but just think of how expensive it would have been back in the 90s. Right?
Yeah.
When did Cutthroat Island come
but
out? It would have been around Cutthroat Island budget.
91.
Yeah.
How do you turn down Steven Spielberg for something like that?
It's true.
Oh.
The mouse can
Especially
turn
in
him
that
down.
time period.
Yeah.
95. Rhode Island, 95.
Mickey doesn't care who he turns down.
Go fuck yourself.
That's pretty good.
I'm not affiliated with whoever said that or any representation of said mouse. That's not me. I don't know who said that, but that was not me.
That was really good, Tom. I'm glad you pulled that out. That was a spot-on Mickey impersonation. All right, let's move on to our...
My Mickey impersonation is a lot better than that. So.
It's funny how you switched so quick from that to explaining it in a different voice.
Yeah. Let's move on to our second round.
Cinesmack is not sponsored by anything Disney or anything in their affiliates.
God, I wish Disney would just buy us. They do everything else.
Acting.
We're open for negotiation.
Oh shit, that's me acting. Yes. Okay. Awesome. So we're gonna start with Master and Commander. Some pretty broad and very strong acting. Love Paul Bettany. Love what he does. I really like his acting style. He has a very predictable way of portraying a character, and he's really good at pulling out different types of characters and emotions, and he's a really fun actor to watch in the different roles that he does. I really enjoy him in most movies. Russell Crowe is I don't know if he just stands out a lot in this movie. Very powerful character, very powerful portrayal. Would believe him as any kind of ship captain. Would not want to get in his way. He's just both of those two really kind of. It feels almost like a ocean-faring buddy movie almost between the two of them. Really enjoyed both of those two, and highly good actors. And I mean, there's quite a few others, but those are the two that really stuck out. We can obviously throw out names and talk about others. Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, you got Johnny Depp, who fills out a quirky pirate. I'm not sure if he was acting or not, but damn, he's just funny. He's goofy. He's quirky. He's pretty much everything that made that original movie. We won't go into the sequel stuff, but as that character, I mean, Johnny Depp he's just damn good at it. Jeffrey Rush is just a great actor himself. I believe he's Shakespearean trained, and he rolls with it. He's fun to watch in that as well. Then you have Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley, who are just kind of like your secondaries. Not that they did bad or anything. Just they're kind of like this side story that they just use to help move along, but not bad acting. Orlando Bloom is kind of flat for me. He's just
Orlando Bloom.
He's
the same guy he is in every movie.
Yeah, and then Keira Knightley. I mean, she's pretty, but she's kind of goofy, and it's fun to see her play off of Johnny Depp. There are scenes where it makes me wonder if there was just a lot of laughing going on, and she was holding it together as much as she possibly could because she wasn't sure what was going to happen next. So those are the main actors that I would say pretty much stood out in those two films. You guys got other.
Who Jack Sparrow reminds me of? Ooh. The most interesting guy you'd ever find in a bar.
Yeah,
like he would just talk your ear off for an hour, and you'd be captivated the entire time. I think it's very magnetic. His performance kind of draws your eyes to it and keeps you engaged in the story. Like you said, Jeffrey Rush he's going to be like an A-level actor in any role. Doesn't matter what it is. Yep. You give him something like this where he gets to chew the scenery a bit and be loud and big, and it's just fantastic. He's great. He's very good at playing smarmy and evil. He's got a great presence. He's just a fantastic actor all around.
That's a great way to put it. Smarmy and evil. And he just does it very well.
He's great. He's just great at it. I mean, he's just a great actor.
I think it's funny.
I think Johnny Depp is too.
I think it's funny that he played such a stereotypical pirate kind of role, but did it really, really well.
Yeah, he's great though, right? It's like he's like, I'm going to give you Bluebeard, or I'm going to give you any pirate captain you imagine. But look, I'm just going to nail it. I'm going to fucking nail it. You're going to identify with it. It's going to be exactly what you want out of an evil pirate. He's great at it. Keira Knightley, I thought was good in the movie, a little underused in some points and overused in others. I felt kind of uneven. Orlando Bloom was. I don't mind Orlando Bloom, but I feel like he's the same in every movie. I think if you took this movie and you took Lord of the Rings and you took Kingdom of Heaven and you took some of these other movies that Orlando Bloom is in, you could play audio of those without any video, and it'd be hard to tell what movie they're from. I just feel like it's the same thing all the time. And he's really kind of wooden. He's obviously very physically attractive and good at like fight scenes and action scenes, but his emoting is it's lacking. And I think it shows in contrast with some of the other actors he's sharing the screen with.
He's very dry and low versus the high and craziness that is over the topness.
Yes, and he has very subtle facial expressions as opposed to Johnny Depp and Jeffrey Rush, who are giving these great facial performances. And then
Orlando Bloom had facial performances?
They're just barely there. It's like if you were checking to see if he was in a coma.
The Botox was wearing off.
Yeah.
During those scenes.
But Master of Commander is a movie where I think the casting is so spot on. Russell Crowe portrays what I think is the perfect embodiment of a gentlemanly captain during wartime, where he just embodies both parts of that lifestyle. He's both very prim and proper and also very cheerful and warm with his friends, and also a hardened sailor. And I think he's great at that. And the hierarchy of the movie works perfectly. You couldn't see any of those other guys giving orders to Russell Crowe, but it makes sense that Russell Crowe gives orders to everyone else. The only person on his level is the doctor, and they share almost an equal standing and footing in their conversations and their interactions with each other. And I think that's just brilliant acting. Everybody else is playing some level of subservient to Russell Crowe, which makes sense because he's the captain and he's the presence and he's great. And they call him Lucky Jack, and he's a fantastic captain. That being said, I think some of the things that the actors had to go through in both these movies, the fight scenes, the battle scenes, I mean, obviously Pirates is not as gritty and realistic as some of the battle scenes are in Master Commander, which is actually kind of horrifying to think about being inside what is basically a giant splinter factory.
Yes.
With huge cannonballs flying through it. And it's just kind of nightmare fuel. But some of the performances those actors give in Master Commander are just great. There are a couple I think that stand out as being not so perfect, but man, they just all have such depth to them, and they feel like real people, and I really enjoyed it.
It's a Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock kind of pairing between Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany.
It is. It's
it really
it's
is.
really good there. Yeah,
It's
true.
I'm not a Russell Crowe fan. I didn't really like Gladiator. I mean, it was a good movie, but I thought there were like a lot better movies that it kind of overshadowed, and I didn't think it was particularly good in Les Mis, and I've never been a real huge Russell Crowe fan. This is my favorite Russell Crowe movie, and I don't know if it's because he found a character that plays so much to his acting, because I feel like when I watch Russell Crowe, he's acting like we think an actor is supposed to act. I don't really feel like he's not like much of a method actor. I don't know what his process is, but I've never really found any of his acting very believable. It's always like Russell Crowe, and that's always been my problem with him. So, but what was the other one? Is it Nice Guys? Is that the one he's in?
Yep.
Yeah, he's good in Nice Guys.
He's really good in Nice Guys. And that's another one. LA Confidential is another one.
Oh yeah.
That he's really good in, where he finds these real hard characters that just like, that's a Russell Crowe guy. So
it is Russell Crowe being Russell Crowe, I think.
Right.
Well, especially in those.
Right. And so I think, if he picks his own scripts, that's, it's kudos to him for picking them. So, but I don't know what can be said. Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow is it iconic? I mean, I think that's probably fair to say. I mean, it transcended the movie. It was. Here's the thing to think about. It was so good that they made 4 more movies on the off chance they might hit lightning again, and each one got worse than the one before. But they still kept throwing money at this idea because, damn it, if they just did one more, they'd get $1.5 billion in box office, and it was worth rolling the dice. So. And that's incredible. I can't think of any franchise where they made one movie that was just knocked it out of the park, and then they were like, "Well, let's try this 4 more times," and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. So,
and Johnny Depp, I mean, it's so iconic that you say, "What do you think?" A lot of people, you ask them, "What do you think of a pirate?" And that's who they want to imitate. They think of Johnny Depp's character.
Well, not just that, but that year, the most worn Halloween costume must have been Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow. It still is today.
And there are
still people that they're like, oh, we're doing pirates. Oh, okay, I'll dress up as Jack Sparrow because that's what everybody.
People have built careers around dressing up like Jack Sparrow.
Yes, yes.
Lonely Island.
I know one.
That's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah, there you go.
I know one that does that.
I do too.
It's amazing though, but really, he just like walks that edge of funny, believable, and then just can't be over the top. And in watching this again, it's really amazing how close he gets to just tipping over the edge, and it doesn't happen once the entire movie.
Isn't that crazy? What a skill to have as an actor is to just maintain believability. Right. Like you're straining at the edge of credulity. Like you are not a real person. But just barely it's like sloshing around a cup of water without any of it spilling.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. Yeah, man, he nails it. It's
a little disappointing to see it kind of start to slip away as you work your way through the next 4 movies, because the second movie wasn't bad. I would even argue the second movie was a good movie, but it just, they just get further and further in many ways from the original. So
they repeat the same jokes over and over.
And how much of it is him, and how much of it is the writing and directing and that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, invariably as your series goes on, your movies become parodies of your earlier films. They're
always looking to go bigger.
Yeah, they're just do you remember all this fun stuff from the first one? Here it is, twice as much of it.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the sequel trap.
It is. Yeah,
that should be a movie.
The sequel trap?
The sequel trap.
I like the Lindsay Lohan version of the sequel trap.
Jeez.
Gabe, did you want to add anything?
No, I think these guys covered it. Russell Crowe was really fantastic in Master and Commander, and Johnny Depp was performance of his career, probably.
Well, I equate his performance, like he was not an A-lister, right? Like he had kind of fallen off the radar for a while, just like Robert Downey Jr. And then Pirates came out and Iron Man came out. And those are 2 movies that made both of them household names.
Mm-hmm.
It is amazing. It is amazing that we have a better track record on movies based on theme rides than we do of movies based on video games. That's just, that is,
yes.
If I had $200 million, I should go find an amusement park ride and start there.
You know what's funny though is in third place in that category be movies based on board games.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very true. All right. Let's put it to a vote. Andrew.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
I knew that was coming. Tom.
I'm going to say Master and Commander just because Russell Crowe wins me over with this one, and that's not easy to do.
All right. Kyle?
I cast my vote for Master and Commander.
Gabe?
This is going to be a close one because I'm going to go with Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right.
Or Caribbean. Or
however you want to say
Caribbean. I don't know.
Writer and co-creator Stuart Beattie wrote the part of Jack Sparrow with Hugh Jackman in mind. Beattie and Jackman attended the same Australian high school. The character's first name was even a nod to the actor's name. However, Disney did not feel Hugh Jackman was a big enough star for the part. So the part was eventually offered to Johnny Depp. This was also considered to be a commercial risk because Depp, although a respected actor, was hardly a bankable star at the time. Russell Crowe learned to play the violin for the film and referred to it as the hardest thing he'd ever done for a film. And Paul Bettany was one of the few actors who did not get seasick during filming because he was a member of the Sea Cadets as a kid.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
It showed. You could tell. He
I just say it does my
had to
middle.
see.
He had to see. He's quite a seaman. It does my middle school orchestra heart good to see someone play the cello again. That was my instrument, and that just made me smile the entire movie.
The fact that he was playing it like a guitar was cracking me up.
That was kind of funny. Yeah.
Oh, I loved it when they were both sitting there. I really enjoyed the music in Master and Commander. Like, I thought it was great.
Yes.
Actually, we'll get into this, but the music in Pirates is also very good.
Yes, it is. All right, let's move on to our third round, which is directing.
So we have Gore Verbinski and Peter Weir. Gore Verbinski, who I believe was coming off, what was the horror movie he did right before this?
The Ring?
The Ring? Was that the one he did right before this?
I know
Good
he did
for
The Ring.
him. Good for him for making that jump. Pretty impressive. And then Peter Weir, I think, came off, was this coming off Truman Show, right? So really both of them kind of fish out of water, working on like a new type of genre for both of them. And so I think it really comes down to, I think for me, for some of the directing on both of these, it comes down to the action scenes. I feel like the kind of the plotty parts of the movie, the exposition stuff is pretty cut and dried, and there's not anything too remarkable there. But the action scenes on both of these movies are really, really impressive. And we've all heard stories about how hard it is to shoot on water and to shoot with boats and the continuity issues that they raise. And they both these movies went after that, the challenge of seafaring movies that have plagued so many movies in the past, and they both do a really, really great job of keeping the action very tense and exciting, but never letting you get lost in the action. A lot of directors sometimes when you're watching their movies, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, Michael Bay, where there's action scenes and you don't. You kind of get lost exactly where everyone is, but everybody does. But these two guys do a really great job with that. And they both also do a really great job of just kind of driving the story forward and keeping things interesting. And there are large sections of Master and Commander where there's not a lot happening, where they really kind of focus on this is what life at sea was like. But even those scenes are very compelling, and you're like, oh yeah, they would have to do surgery on a boat. That would be very difficult to do. I think if Gore Verbinski gets any credit, it's the world of Jack Sparrow in the Caribbean and this pirate culture that he created, and like we said, got spun off into 4 more movies after that. And that's no small feat either. So, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, I was just gonna say, one of the highlights in retrospect of Master and Commander was that they were able to make what really is a slow ass boat chase feel tense.
Yeah,
you're talking about a situation where action will happen in 6 to 8 hours, and you're still worried about it. I think that's quite a feat to just show that perspective shot of you in the foreground and the other ship on your tail, knowing that they're faster than you and they're going to catch you. What it reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen a horror movie called It Follows, where this sort of otherworldly thing walks after you. And that's a hard thing to make appear scary. But it's the intent and the nonstop action of it. So, yeah, the his ability to make a slow boat chase seem so tense, I think is masterful. That's good filmmaking.
Star Wars should take some pointers.
Yes.
Don't
yes,
go there.
right?
Just keep talking. Stop it.
Yes, that's right. There are no hyperdrives on the water, though. So that is one thing. That they would vaporize great chunks of the ocean. That'd be amazing to watch, actually. The stuff aboard the ship, especially in Master and Commander, feels so claustrophobic and feels so lived in and dangerous and dirty. I thought that was great. That was really well portrayed. The camaraderie amongst all the men, it really felt like real. Like these people had been stuck together acting on this movie for a while and they really got along. I would like to hear about what the set experience was like for that, because I have to imagine it's probably pretty intense. But yeah, got to give Gore Verbinski a lot of credit for bringing this big, bold world to life in a way that, yeah, it's great imagination, and it verges on the edge of corny. Of like, this could very easily be a corny movie, and it just barely strays away from it. And it touches on a lot of the things we like about pirate stories. You know, the Jolly Roger and ships chasing each other and shooting each other, and women being absconded from, and love and battle on the high seas, and buried treasure and curses and Davy Jones' locker and all those things. So it really touches on a lot of that stuff, but it does it in a way where it doesn't come off feeling like corny. And it would be easier to make a corny movie, I think. So I give them a lot of credit for that. Also, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. Pirates is a great looking movie. Some of the visual effects, especially the one with the guy with the wooden eye, I get that that's probably in there for kids and stuff, but it's a little distracting at points. Because like I said, the movie doesn't go full cornball, but it goes like 80% cornball, and sometimes it's a little distracting. Whereas I think Master Commander is like 100% certified no corn. And Master Commander almost doesn't, I know this is going to sound silly, it feels like it could be a movie where you could take the setting and the things into a jungle, onto a desert, onto anywhere else, and it would still be an interesting story. It would still be engaging. It doesn't have to be a nautical movie. It just happens to be one. Like the premise of it, the chase, the battle, the duty, the honor, all these things that it touches on. You could set that anywhere and it would work. And I think that's a good testament to how well the story stands on its own.
Well, and you mentioned the claustrophobicness of like even just being on the ship. Can you imagine shooting that with a camera? Like fitting that, because, you know, in both movies, they had practical sets. They had practical things that were happening where they're in bows of ships. They're on decks. They're all over the place. And to have like a camera down there, your crew, and all your actors all huddled around, and, you know, that to me sounds even more claustrophobic on top of everything, because you just have so much going on. It's quite a feat to be able to pull off something that realistic. And I know Pirates of the Caribbean did use some practical effects, and there are real ships, and they built real stuff. They did use a lot more computer animation for some of it. I think we'll get into the special effects. I don't know. We can talk about special effects maybe in the next category, but you know, some of the shots, even there's some really close knit stuff, and to be able to pull that off, the one scene where they are on board and they have the cursed crew on top, and it's the first time that you actually see them under the moonlight. There were over 26 different cameras being shot at different angles at all times during that scene, so they could capture everything for the visual effects and everything else. That to me is just insane. So
a lot.
Yeah, that's
a lot of coordination.
It is. And so, I mean, you got to give them credit for being able to manage all of that. And I know the director doesn't do all of it, but that's impressive to direct all of that, maintain all of it. You know, they have to somewhat sail the ship.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you know, I think the idea of like Master and Commander, like, is there anything that happens in Master and Commander? Well, I guess there are times when they're on the Galapagos. There are very, very few scenes where they're not on a ship.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just think about pulling that off convincingly, and how would you do that? Logistically, I just think that's fantastic. That you could do that.
Money.
And then
money has lots to do with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean, or Caribbean.
Caribbean.
The visual effects. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I think Kyle, you mentioned that the wooden eye, and some of the visual effects are a little bit dated by our standards now. But I remember when I first saw it, I thought, oh my God, these visual effects are just fantastic. The stuff where they would be partly in moonlight and partly out, and they would go in between, like moonlight and out of the moonlight, and they would switch back and forth. And
the fight scene at the end
with Jack and Barbosa. Yeah, it's great.
And they're jumping in and out of skeleton versus human is incredible.
It's so cool. And the fact that they not only did they do that, but they planned that. That they said we're this is going to be really hard, and we're going to do it. And they may seem a little dated by our today's standards, but at the time, I think those visual effects were really fantastic. And again, like you guys said, money had a lot to do with it. But
I think they hold up just fine.
I was going to say I thought they looked really good. There are some that are kind of cheesy and corny that are obvious, like Kyle was saying with like the eyeball and stuff. But like the actual skeleton ones are really well done. I even even breezing over it again just to take notes, I was like, this is pretty impressive, especially how seamless the transition from flesh to skeleton and then back, and not even during the fight, just even when Barbosa first reaches his hands out towards Keira Knightley's character with the apple, and his hand turns and then he slowly steps in and the moon kind of just does a wipe across his face. That is incredible. That is, wow.
And just think about
to look at it in script form and just just have the balls to be like, we can do this, and we can make it pass. That's
and all the visual effects artists are like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, that's a great thing to
exactly.
I think
it's a great thing to write on a page. A great thing to write on a page. It sounds so cool, and then you're like, oh fuck, we got to do it.
How are we gonna do this?
But you know what? You do something fun like this, and the graphic artists are just like jumping at it. Like, I want people to believe that this is real.
Oh, and I'm sure they went above and beyond their skill level.
This is their Statue of David,
Oh,
like, make this look believable, and it's incredible. I mean, it's just really well done. I love it.
Even when they finally turn Mr. Sparrow into a skeleton and all the intricacies to pull it off, so he is immediately recognizable as Jack Sparrow. Still, he still has
the coin.
Oh my gosh, it's just it's so good, so good.
And maybe this is really we may be kind of venturing into the next category, but
I know.
But really, to think to have the audacity to think that we can do this, at that time with I don't know what kind of tools they had available to them at the time, but I'm sure it wasn't like what we have now.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that my computer work is more powerful than anything they had working on, and I'm just editing sports videos, and so.
And to pull us all back, your director being able to actually like sit down and say, "Yeah, we're gonna do this," and to lead that ship. Did it twice.
That ship.
That is, that's ballsy and good for him.
Yeah.
All right. Time's up, fellas. How we vote? Tom.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to Pirates of the Caribbean because I think the action scenes are a really great combination of humor and action, and it's just one gag after another, and it doesn't stop. There's like 6 scenes in the movie that are just watchable on their own.
All right. Gabe. Or Kyle, sorry.
Wait. Pick
What?
one.
Kyle.
Okay. This is a hard one to know which one to cast my vote for, so I'm like kind of riding a wave between them, sort of. I don't want to take up too much time. I don't want this to be an anchor on the podcast. It's like I got to go full sail ahead. I know that, but
He's been planning this all week.
I hope that my confidence will buoy the rest of you to.
Oh man.
You got a lot of goal saying that.
You got a lot
Yeah.
of goal.
Yeah, got a lot of goal. See, Tom, you got a lot of goal.
Sorry, Kyle. That ship has sailed.
I mean, it's a tight Titanic race. It's a. You know what? I'm gonna give it. I'll cast my vote for Master and Commander.
Gabe.
Did I not vote already?
No.
Oh, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think Pirates of the Caribbean for me. I can't follow Kyle, so I'm just gonna vote.
All right, Andrew.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught in my wake.
God, you literally have been planning this like for weeks.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's just I'm just paddling out here to see what's going on. I'm trying to stay even keel.
Keep going. Can you keep going?
Hold on. Let me speak.
Hold on.
Yeah, let me speak.
Andrew, please vote.
Kyle. I'm voting for Kyle.
Yeah, he gets my vote too. I changed mine to Kyle.
For writing.
Yeah, for writing.
Right.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
During the film's pre-production of Master and Commander, the replica of Captain James Cook's ship, HMS Endeavour, was circumnavigating the globe. The production was able to fly 2 cameramen to the ship as it was about to sail around the bottom of South America, a route the HMS Surprise takes in the film. Thus, the footage of the stormy seas from that part of the voyage is genuine. The Endeavour sailors were used in costumes kept on board for displays.
Wow. That's impressive.
There were more.
Yeah, that's.
Sorry, go ahead, Gabe.
I was just going to say that's always fun to take advantage of that kind of serendipity.
Yeah. There were moments where Gore Verbinski would purposefully frame Johnny Depp out, since his performance as Jack Sparrow was so strong.
Yeah,
I don't blame him.
yeah.
It takes a masterful director to do that.
You just want to get the rest of your jibs in all night, don't you?
Well, I'm starting to feel like this is a bit rigged.
Let's go to our 4th round, which is overall.
Jeez, the guys are all my nautical puns are just killing it tonight. All right. I don't want to sound a little dingy, but we'll start with the music portion of this, which I thought was very strong in both films. The classical scores were great. Lots of good action adventure scoring in Pirates of the Caribbean. Some very tense action scoring in Master and Commander. I love the inclusion of classical music. If you were to tell me only one style of music can be used to score movies from now on, it's classical. I don't care if you have to cut the rest out. That'd be a shame, but I love it. It's so evocative and emotional. It does such a great job at conveying what the filmmakers want you to feel. And it's so pliable. It can be made to fit so many different situations. I want to give Master and Commander a special shout out for showing me an occupation for which I would be particularly ill-suited. Any job aboard a wooden ship for long periods of time. I'd have zero interest in my life in doing that job. Horrifying to watch those people survive on that ship. The amount of lice and scurvy and homosexual tension that must have been going on. was astronomical. A man with a coin in his head with "Hold Fast" tattooed on his fingers, telling me that someone's cursed. It's just all around a fever dream. And there's always
just
the
like
option.
being on this podcast.
No shit, yeah, it really is. Although my odds of getting splinters on this podcast is slightly lower.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. You guys are a bunch of pricks, so. So I feel like I'm slowing us down here because my brain's still got about 30% capacity trying to work up new nautical puns. I'll see if I can slip a few more in before the end of the
slip. That's another one.
Yeah, slip. That's a good one, right? Yeah.
You're doing it on an extra now. It's just...
You're starboard. You're starboard.
Thanks. Yeah, okay. Motorboat. Anyways.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Those are different movies.
Well, I suppose you can't talk about Pirates of the Caribbean without mentioning the fact that it went on to become a very, at least financially successful franchise. Master Commander being a standalone film. I think if you were to base this on the merits of the story and the filmmaking, you'd be kind of surprised that one went one way and one went the other, or that they both didn't follow on. But I can see why, to a general audience, Master and Commander might lack some of the flair and dramatics that Pirates of the Caribbean has. It's not as theater friendly or general audience friendly, but I think it is truly, a very good film, if not a great film. I was so surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. I was really dreading it. It seemed like a journey around the world to watch this movie. Like, I did not know what stormy seas I was in for, the highs and the lows, and they just all broke over me, and I truly enjoyed it. I was really surprised by how good it was. Pirates of the Caribbean, of course, I had seen before, as most people have. I mean, I would wager to say the majority of people have seen at least one Pirates of the Caribbean movie by now. It was so popular. But yeah, I was surprised at how different these movies were, but how many similar themes they had, and how much I enjoyed watching them.
Yeah, I would say that to your soundtrack, I own both of these soundtracks. They both have very iconic theme songs, very iconic music, and they're both very much enjoyable to listen to, even while not watching the movies. So that definitely says, something. I'm sure other people own at least the theme songs to both of these, or at least would recognize them in most cases. Especially Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a very iconic.
That's a John Williams level of.
Yeah.
Recognizability.
Yeah, I would agree. I enjoyed both of them. I've seen both of them. I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean more than I had seen Master and Commander. This is the third time that I've watched Master and Commander, and I watched it twice before this podcast. And it is very much enjoyable. It feels more of a serious movie about almost a dramaturian. I don't know, documentary drama mixed together, I guess. But docudrama. It has much more of that feel to it, and much more of a solid story that you feel like you're following, and you're going to sit down and you're going to watch this and be like, wow, that was incredible. With Pirates of the Caribbean, you sit down and you're like, man, that was a lot of fun. The characters were so lively and, engrossing. So both of them definitely leave you with a feel, which, that's one of the biggest goals of a filmmaker, is whether you laugh, cry, or hate it, you leave, watching my movie with some sort of feel. And I would say both of these movies have a strong impact for those who watch it. At least I think so. I'll let other people talk because I talked a lot. So, Gabe or Tom?
Both of these movies are movies that I can put in pretty much any time and enjoy watching them. I think I've only seen Pirates of the Caribbean once, and maybe the last like 7 or 8 years. I watched it with my kids recently, and that's one of the cool part about kids is when you go back and watch a movie and you're sitting with them, it's like getting to see it again for the first time, which is a really cool experience. But in watching it for the show today, like it had been so long that I had forgotten a lot of the things. And the thing that's really struck me about Pirates of the Caribbean is how epic it is. Where Master and Commander is kind of a slow burn, and things move very gradually between the battles and the more exciting parts. Pirates of the Caribbean just puts the foot to the puts the you can't say gas because it's a pirate ship, but they go full sail and just like it is amazing how many different sets and locations they hop around in. I mean, it's a huge, massive story, and they really try to tell so much. And they do it really, really well. But I love both movies so much. I've been looking forward to this since we announced or picked it back in December. That I was hoping that these two would be fun to go head to head. So
yeah, and I remember when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and I thought to myself, what a stupid money grab. It's just going to be stupid entertainment. That they're just going to make a bunch of money and it's going to be really dumb. Little did I know how good of a movie it was going to be. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's a really fun movie. Yes, I am quite the movie snob.
But
I am wearing my bow tie right now.
You're not alone in that, though. A lot of people, when people are like, you're going to do a movie based on a ride at Disney World, a lot of people were skeptical. So not only did they have to get past that taboo of making a pirate movie, making it successful and enjoyable, they had to break through all of the people that wouldn't even give them a chance. And they they won them over, too. I mean, it really is. It's a stunning feat, and it doesn't even surprise me that they were like, "Let's make 4 more."
Right.
And you know what? I was the same way though. I mean, I went in thinking it was going to be cheesy, over the top Disney, and it surprised me. It was a much better, more grounded movie than I thought it was going to be.
Well, and one of the things that kind of surprised me upon this viewing was how actually kind of violent it was. It wasn't graphic necessarily. But there were definitely people dying in those kinds of things, and I was like, it's a little more graphic for a Disney movie than I expected it to be.
When Barbossa's crew goes aboard the English ship and they walk up behind him and start slitting throats, it's intense.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. I didn't recall it being quite so violent. And then I had never seen Master and Commander. This is the first time I've seen it, and I didn't know what to expect. But I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed it. I actually wish it had been like the books, maybe made into 2, because I think there was a lot more there that we could have enjoyed, but with those experiences and those characters and that kind of thing. Because I did feel at times that it was kind of rushed. Like certain things happened really quickly, and I'm like, oh, what happened? It wasn't a fast-paced movie, but things happened really fast. Like, if you know what I mean. Like, and so I kind of wish there was a little bit more to it, and maybe we'll get that. We'll get a little more in the future. I don't know.
And I don't know the finances of it, but Master and Commander feels like either they need to Netflix or a streaming service needs to take it on as a series, and slow it down a little bit, or they need to make 90-minute movies. Do a movie a book, but I know you had crew there. Then shoot them back to back and do 2, but 2.5 hours. It seems like they're. I don't know if they squeezing 2 books into 1 movie, and if Hollywood's proven anything in the last 20 years since Master and Commander came out, it's that they have no problem taking a book and splitting into 2 movies.
Into more,
3.
Well, I was just going to say, maybe you need somebody like an HBO that, has a ton of money and doesn't mind spending, over $1 million on 1 episode of an episodic.
Right.
Yeah, Amazon certainly would. I think.
Amazon.
I'm not going to get into Lord of the Rings TV show, whatever that bullshit is. But one of the things that won me over for Pirates of the Caribbean, I love it when I see an actor like Jeffrey Rush who is coming off, like Shine and Shakespeare in Love, and he just, oh my God, he looks like he's having so much fun in this thing.
Oh yeah,
He probably was.
Oh my! And it's funny because when they said they're going to make more, I was like, well, they're not going to get Jeffrey Rush back, and he's like, hell yeah, I'll do more. I love this shit, and it's just
right.
I could be goofy.
Make a ton of money and have fun at the same time.
A Shakespearean trained actor getting to do a goofy part. I bet he was like, this will be a nice relaxation, and yet he can't turn off his amazing acting ability and delivers an amazing performance.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy though, because like I said earlier on, I feel like it's like a stereotypical pirate, but he does it so well. It's like it works. It totally works.
Yes.
Yeah.
and I just wanted on the record too. Johnny Depp was nominated for a Best Actor Academy Award for this, and
he was fantastic.
They don't give it for comedy.
And Jeffrey Rush was, sword fighting and doing a lot of. I mean, I'm sure he didn't do all of his stunts, but there's some sword play and some action that Jeffrey Rush was doing is quite incredible.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And some of those scenes were great. The first sword fight between Johnny Depp and Orlando Bloom, was fantastic. Especially where he's hanging upside down trying to get that sword out of the ceiling.
Yeah. Oh, the iconic shot at the very beginning of him sailing in on just the top of his boat.
That's fantastic. That is one of the best scenes in any.
Let's put it to a vote, Kyle.
Jeez. Blackbeard himself here.
I'm going to vote. I'm going to keep my vote consistent the way it's been all night. Master and Commander.
All right. Gabe.
I think I'm going to go Pirates of the Caribbean.
Andrew.
You wonder what I'm going to pick, you matey, eh? There we go with the Pirates of the Caribbean.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, I'll make it up to Peter Weird later in the show, so I'm going to go Pirates of the Caribbean.
It's going to be a close one tonight. I think I know where it's going, but it's close.
Jerry Bruckheimer and director Gore
Gorbinski.
Take two. Jerry Bruckheimer and director Gore Verbinski wanted to use the massive water tank in Rosarito, Baja California, Mexico, used for Titanic and Pearl Harbor. But Peter Weir's film Master and Commander: The Far Side of the World had the tank booked during the time Pirates was scheduled to shoot.
Wow.
The first movie to ever, Master and Commander is the first movie ever to film on the Galapagos Islands. Although the scene where the crew is chasing marine iguanas was filmed in Baja, California, with regular green iguana, which had been dyed black.
Oh, it's kind of cruel.
I was gonna say, is that they couldn't have the Humane Society sticker on the movie?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to recommendations for this month. We'll start with Gabe.
Well, I don't have a seafaring movie. I assume Kyle does.
Jeez.
But I do.
What the
not.
fuck, Gabe?
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God. There are
there's only so many I can watch. But Jill and I have been watching The Queen's Gambit on Netflix, and that is really fantastic.
She owned the boat in Master and Commander.
What's that?
She owned the boat in Master and Commander, the Queen.
The Queen, yes, she did.
There you go.
And it's really well done. And I've heard several people say, how can you make a chess exciting? But it's not really about the chess. It's interesting, I wonder. I don't play chess, so I don't know how accurate it is, but I do wonder how accurate the chess playing is actually in it.
You're more of a checkers guy. But it's really
a fantastic show. What's that?
Are you like me, more of a checkers guy?
Yeah, dominoes. Yeah. I'm more of a dominoes. And there's a movie about that coming out too, by the way. But anyway, I would highly recommend The Queen's Gambit on.
All right, thank you, Gabe. Andrew.
So my recommendation, I'm sticking with the pirate seafaring type
Thank you,
Yes.
Gabe.
Yes.
Thank
yes.
you. Or thank you, Andrew. Not to Gabe.
You're welcome.
Most people would probably think I would, mention something like Goonies or something, but I'm going to go with a much more mismatched cast. And that would be Hugh Grant with Selma Hayek, Jeremy Piven, and even Al Roker fall under this movie. And that's the Pirates Band of Misfits. And it is, I know what you're thinking, but let me tell you what,
It's fantastic.
It's so much fun to watch. It's funny.
Really great.
It's well written. The animation, claymation style is so fun to just get on. It's just a fantastic movie. So Pirates Band of Misfits.
I
Highly.
love that movie. It's so good.
It's so good.
It is.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. Tom?
Okay, so here's where I make it up to Peter Weir for not voting for his movie for best overall. My pick is from 1986, and it stars Harrison Ford and the lovely Helen Mirren, and River Phoenix, who has the unfortunate relationship with Johnny Depp. But it's Mosquito Coast, and it's about and this is the movie, not the TV show on Apple that everybody's not watching right now. So. It's really good. Harrison Ford gives a really awesome performance, and it's about a family from America that moves to South America because they fear that America is collapsing, and it's this manic father inventor and trying to keep his family together but also keep them alive. And it's a really, really great movie. It's I actually haven't seen the Justin Theroux TV show, but I don't want to because I love the movie so much. So anyway, I think Mosquito Coast and African Queen would be a really great matching pair next year. So I'm going to put that on the list.
All right. Thank you, Tom. Kyle?
I am going to recommend a nautical themed thing, and that is a TV show that was on A&E called The Terror. I can only recommend the first season, not the second season, which was very different, but it is about a ship called The Terror, which it's actually two ships in the British Navy that attempt to cross the Northwest Passage and get stuck in the ice. And all of the trials and tribulations and tragedies that come along with being basically on a boat frozen in the middle of the ocean and having to deal with locals and possible supernatural things, finding out some of the food on your boat is tainted with lead and making people go crazy. It's a very well done TV show. It's got some great British actors in it. So if you're a fan of that and you like things set on the sea, check out The Terror.
That looks fantastic, Kyle.
Yeah, we watched the first season. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh.
Well, my recommendation is from 2015, and it holds a sort of personal... it's kind of personal for me because I had a long removed relative that was on board the Essex ship. And this movie was directed by Ron Howard. It stars Chris Hemsworth, Cillian Murphy, and Brendan Gleeson. And it is In the Heart of the Sea, which... When you guys recommend, I think it was, I can't remember who it was it Tom or was it Andrew that, when we were going through our bouts for this year that said Pirates versus Master and Commander? I can't remember who it was. I instantly thought
it was Tom.
I was thinking that In the Heart of the Sea and Master and Commander would probably go well together because they are both more...
Seafaring, less piratey.
Well, serious, right? And
serious.
Thank you, Kyle. But everyone that's listening to this has heard of Moby Dick. This is the true story of the ship that inspired the book Moby Dick. So check it out.
And the shot that is in that movie of the overhead of the ship sailing over the giant whale
Yeah,
from the air
Yeah.
is fantastical in so many ways. It is a beautiful, beautiful shot.
That's my favorite cinematographer, Anthony Dodmantle. He does he's the best.
Oh, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous shot.
All right. Let's poke the monkey, find out who won.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Your winner by decision is Pirates of the Caribbean!
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
That's only 2 votes. So
Yeah.
I felt closer.
We would appreciate it if you could leave us a review on iTunes or whatever podcasting service you use. It helps us reach new listeners. If you like us, tell your friends. If you hate us, tell your enemies. You can contact us at cinesmack@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Just search Cinesmack. For July, we put on our fedoras and our rocket packs to punch mobsters and Nazis in the face. It's Dick Tracy versus the Rocketeer. For Andrew, Tom, Kyle, Gabe, and myself, thanks for listening, and go catch a flick.
Pontoon!
Well, what pulled it together for Pirates were directing and overall. Yep. If one vote would have gone the other way, it would have been a lot closer. But
I swayed the scallywags.
that's some really good analysis.
thank you. I'm so tired.
If one would have gone the other way, it would have been closer.
I'm so tired.
If the other movie would have gotten one more vote, they would have had more votes.
Yes,
by one.
exactly, by one.
And the other movie would have had one less vote.
I feel like the color commentator on a football game. Well, he would have gone farther if he wouldn't have gotten tackled.
And the streak continues. The movie with more points wins.
Yes. Imagine that.
It happens every week.
123 episodes.
This has been a test of the Southsider Studios podcast system. This was only a test. If this were a true lack of entertainment, your head would explode. Go to iTunes and subscribe to our feed. Just search Southsider Studios.